Hello and welcome. If you're a Shopify site owner, this is the third video in a series talking about how to run Facebook ads to your Shopify site. In the first video, we talked about getting the pixel dialed in and getting all the tracking codes set up for success. In the second video, we talked about market research, how to figure out what product to send to what person. And in this third video, we're actually gonna pull up Facebook's ad manager and set up an ad from start to finish. So you can follow us step by step and do this alongside. If you're new around here, this is the Rainmaker family YouTube channel. It's my wife, me, our son Kai. We talk about how to create alternative sources of income for your family. And one of those favorite ways that we've done this and many others have in our community is through e-commerce. What you're about to see is a Zoom call I did with one of our Rainmakers, Camden. She has built an awesome Shopify site and it's ready to launch to the marketplace. So with that, let's flip over to the Zoom call.
Hey everybody, we are back with Camden. If you watched the last video, we left off, we had set up her pixel, we did some audience research. Now it's to put all that into action and actually launch a Facebook ad. So if you're ready to launch a Facebook ad with us, pull up your own ad account, pull up your own Shopify. We're gonna make this thing happen. Camden had some homework to do. She was supposed to create some creative, make some ads, some photos or videos. So Camden, how did it go?
It was interesting. We'll see if y'all like them.
Okay, so let's check them out. Okay, here we go. Are you nervous?
No.
Okay, good. Ooh. Oh, snap. Magic trick. Oh, that's cool. I like that. It's catchy. You know, you got your face in there too, which people are always attracted to other humans' faces. So if you can have your face in there, it's more personal. You got the personal brand. And then you have, the social proof too of being featured on HGTV. It's square, which is really nice. That means we can use it in a lot of different placements. Instagram. It's short. We can do this on Instagram stories. I like it a lot. Art from HGTV. Boom. To your home, sweet home. That's awesome. Good job.
Oh,
okay, let's check out the next one. Wow. Oh, that's so good. Because remember, we're going to be targeting, if you're just tuning in, we're targeting Highland cow lovers. So Art for Cow Lovers, they're like, oh my gosh, what is this Camden Creations and why haven't I heard of her sooner? So
it might be a little silly. I don't know. Or it's going to catch their...
You never know. That's the thing with Facebook ads. You really never know what's going to work. And that's why we tell people, hey, try a bunch of different stuff, test it. Don't spend millions of dollars creating videos and put all your eggs in one video. Create a bunch of content, create a bunch of tests. And then once you figure out what's working, then you can be like, wow, that angle really worked. Let's make more of that, So that is really good. I like it. And the first 5 seconds are always so important. And in this one, you really do call out the Highland cow interest right at the beginning, which we found was an interest on Facebook, which is awesome. So they're like, all of a sudden, whoa. I think the only other thing you could try adding to this on a split test is maybe just a photo of a Highland cow right at the beginning, in case they're just scrolling quickly. Okay. They see that really fast. But other than that, awesome stuff.
You downloaded your file, now you have your print, so let's go and figure out what we can do with it.
All you have to do is walk down the frame aisle and you can find a perfect fit. Look at this guy right here.
Cool.
Taking it home.
That's awesome. Good job. So cool. I love this one a lot. It's very personal, very authentic. Feels like an Instagram story. It's got that vertical kind of framing, which I think for this audience works really well. And then if you guys remember, we're going to be targeting this HTTP or this Hobby Lobby kind of DIY interest. So this is like the perfect ad for them. So good job, Camden. You really knocked it out of the park on these.
Well, I'm glad. Those apps came in handy.
Oh, that's awesome. So what apps did you use just for people watching?
I used one called Boosted.
Boosted, cool.
Boosted, and that's the one that does like all the fancy graphics. And then I used another one called Video Leap.
Video
And I
Leap
use-
and Boosted. Good resources. So yeah, if you're creating a video for Facebook ads, definitely leverage these resources. I mean, your cell phone is so powerful just to create content. I mean, we create most of our ads on cell phones as well. It totally works. And you got to remember, people are seeing these ads on a smaller screen. It's not like they're watching them at a movie theater. It doesn't have to be the highest resolution. And like a high percentage of people are on their phones on these platforms. So just make it with a phone for a phone and you'll be totally good to go. With this video, we're going to have 3 parts. We're going to talk about the campaign setup, the ad setup. How do we get that audience into Facebook that we dialed in? And then the last part will be the creative, how to put the ad in, write the copy, and make sure we're sending people to the right place on the website. So with that, let's hop into part number 1, setting up your campaign type. So you're going to want to pull up your Facebook Business Manager, right? We talked about this last time, business.facebook.com. If you don't have that, it might just be facebook.com/ads manager or something like that. But I always look for this menu in the upper left-hand corner and click on Ads Manager. This is where we set up the ads, and you're going to start to get more familiar with this look in the future. You'll get way more comfortable with it. But yeah, it should say business.facebook.com/ads manager. That'll take you here. You'll know you're in the right place when you see campaigns, ad sets, and ads. Now from there, you want to make sure you're in the right ad account. So if you have multiple ad accounts, some people do, just double check this up here and you can click see more ad accounts and make sure you're in the right one. So we are running this one from Camden Creations, which is the one we set the pixel up for. And you want to make sure the pixel is set up with the ad account, so everything's tracking and connecting, all good to go. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the create button, this green create button, and it's going to pull up a little questionnaire here. So the first question is, what is our campaign objective? So Facebook, you can do tons of different stuff on. You can be like, hey, I need video views. I want to get engagement with this post, like likes and comments. I want to generate leads or messages. But what we want in this case is conversions. So we could just send traffic to the website, but conversions is kind of like a smarter version of traffic because Facebook will actually look at who is likely to convert, which means do a specific action on your website. And then we can actually set up what that action is. So you can set up a conversion ad for, let's say, newsletter opt-ins or purchases, which is what we're going to do. We're going to say, hey, the conversion event we want is a purchase on this item. And so Facebook's going to start looking at that, tracking that. And conversion ads definitely can take a little bit longer to dial in. But once they dial in, they get really smart. Facebook looks at every conversion you make, every Highland cow print that sells, and they start making an audience out of that and being like, oh, the people who buy Highland cows, they love Highland cows, but they also love coffee and they also love, leather boots. And like they start kind of figuring out your who. It's really interesting. So these ads get better and better over time. Because you set up your conversion event as a purchase, Facebook will give you data of like, this is how much it cost you per purchase. So I'll just warn you, Camden, sometimes the first purchase cost more than the actual purchase. It could be a lot more than $20. So you're like, wow, I spent $200 to get one $20 purchase. But I promise as this happens, as you get more conversions, Facebook learns and it starts getting better and better and better. And the goal is to get that cost per purchase down way below what you're actually making on the website. So it's profitable. You can scale it up from there. So conversions. Okay, cool. Enough about that. Let's name the campaign. So I always like to name the campaign something that is very specific to what we're doing. So I'll call this Highland Cow Conversions. And sometimes I'll put the date on here too, or just kind of the rough month that we started this. So I'll put February 2021 is when we're recording this video. And so we kind of know, like, you're coming back in the future, you kind of remember, oh, that's what that campaign was. I'm going to leave these ones blank for now and hit continue. From here, it takes us to one more setting in the conversions. And so I guess I should explain this. You guys can watch our video on beginner to expert Facebook ads that explains more of the structure here. But basically what you need to know is there's 3 folders. There's conversions, ad sets, and ads. And these are all within each other. You can kind of see we're on conversions right now. Then we're going to go to ad sets, which is, you can remember this as that's where you set in your audience, like who's it going to. And then ads is like your creative, like what what are we sending those people? Objective up here, audience, and creative. So that's how I remember it. It can get complicated once you start doing multiple things, but you'll see the structure at the end of this. We'll look back and go, wow, we got it all set up, and you'll totally understand it. So campaign name here, we're still on the conversions level. So it just imported in that name, and it asked us a couple more questions. No, we don't want to do any of this stuff, but we do want to do campaign budget optimization. This one here, I personally like it because you basically can choose on Facebook if you want to set your budget at this level or at this level. And I like setting it at this level because it's just one number I set, like, hey, I want to spend $5, $10, $20 a day. And then anything I do underneath is going to kind of be governed by that budget. So at the end of the day, we're going to have probably 3 ad sets here and then multiple ads all underneath one budget. And then Facebook will take this, let's say $10 a day, and they'll divide it between all 3. So you can kind of like let them take the $10 and figure out which one's performing best, and they'll spend more money on, it's kind of like split testing. So yeah.
Can you adjust that later if you want to put it in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the campaign budget, that's another reason I like it. It's a little bit easier to scale up. So if you need to crank it up a little bit, you can, and it's just going to start distributing that to all of your, ad sets and ads. Let's start. I think with this one, we should start with probably a lower number just to test it out. We have no idea if it's going to work or not. And again, it can take some time to buy the data. For anyone asking, I would say, I think I talked about this previously because I do get this question a lot. What's a good daily budget to start with? And it's kind of this topic of, well, how soon do you want to know if this is going to work or not? Because if you put in $1 a day, you will get some data, but you won't really get data enough to make decisions on is it actually working? If you put in $1,000 a day, you will find out within an hour if it's working or not, but it will completely burn that money. And I probably wouldn't recommend doing that. So I think the sweet spot is $20 to $50 or even $20 to $100 a day for starting budget. But with Camden here, I think we're going to start a little bit lower because it is a lower ticket product, like the price of the product. So I don't know, Camden, how does it feel? Can we do $10 a day to start?
Sure.
Okay, so let's do 10, and you can always come and adjust it. You can bring it down to $1 if you need to, or up to 25. It's totally flexible, or you could just turn it off. So, but I think 10 will get us data pretty fairly quickly with this niche, 3 to 4 days, I would say here. Okay, now show more options. There's nothing else down here really that you need to mess with. And I think there's a blue button down here. So look for this next button. It was hiding behind her downloads. And that is going to take us down to the ad set. So you can see now we're on the ad set level, and this brings us to part 2 of this video. So congrats, you've completed part 1. Part 2 is about the ad sets. This is where you dial in your audience. So we did all this audience research in the past video using Interest Explorer and all those things. And so now we're going to start putting those audiences into Facebook. And so we have our audiences right here that we're going to use on Facebook. So I think we should just start with the Highland Cow one, and then we'll kind of duplicate it and change and add these couple things on the next one. So let's do that here. Actually, before we do the audiences, which is just down here, we do need to set the conversion event. And so since we connected this to Shopify, it should already be in here, which is awesome. Oh, iOS 14. Oh man, they've got us. Okay, there's one more step we have to do, and this is brand new as of last week. So if you're watching this video, you're getting the new stuff. Because Facebook changes all the time, and Apple made this big update, iOS 14, blah, blah, blah. And so we have to change something really quickly here, fast to make it work. So we're just gonna click out of this. It's gonna save our spot, so don't worry. You can click this little close button, and it's gonna say, do you want to publish? We're gonna just say, no, just close it, we'll be all right. And we're gonna come back over to the events manager. This is totally brand new. There's 2 things you have to do, which is verify your domain and add in one other thing here. So let's do the domain verification first, actually. So this is actually turning into a 4-part video. So this is part 1.5, which is adding in this domain verification. So basically what you want to do, come down to your settings and then go to brand safety right here, brand safety. Then we're going to click domains. And we should see the domain here. And that is the domain, right? CamdenCreations.com.
Yeah.
Looks like you've already added it in. So that's awesome. And if you haven't done that, you're watching this video, it'll say like add domain. You just type in the domain name, you click add. Then what it does, it pulls up this like verification thing where it's like, hey, we need you to verify your domain name. And there's 3 different ways to do this. One way is you can upload this like HTML file. One thing is you can add this meta tag thing. But I like this one. It's really easy, the DNS verification. Now this is getting super nerdy, but basically we need to add this in wherever you bought your domain. So I'm just going to copy this to my clipboard, right? So I copied that, and then we're going to pause the video, hop over to GoDaddy. I'll show you guys exactly where to do this. All right. So we are logged into GoDaddy, which is where Camden bought this domain from. There's a lot of places to buy domains. Maybe you got yours from Namecheap, or I don't know any others. I just know Namecheap and GoDaddy, but there's a lot of them, but they're all very similar. So basically you want to go into the domain and find a place to edit or manage the DNS. Every domain, like, registrar has this, and it's where you can kind of set like where that domain is pointing to. It's pointing to Shopify. That's how Shopify sees that you own this domain. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a record in here that tells Facebook, hey, I own this domain. Because like you wouldn't be able to verify domain and add this record in if you didn't own it, So we just click add right down here at the bottom. And then we select the type. We're going to say text, TXT. And then for the value, we copied this over from Facebook. So it's right here. See, it says add text record with this thing. That's exactly what we're doing. So I just pasted that in, text. And in the host, you can just put at, and I think it says that right here. Hey, put at if it requires it. And then we're just going to leave that and hit save. That's pretty much it. If you want to check it, what you could do is you can go to like a DNS checker. These things used to take like actually an hour or even sometimes 24 hours to like work, but I'm finding most of the times right now they work right away. So basically we can just check it by pinging it. We can put in, check the text record of CamdenCreations.com, hit search, and you can see it's pinging from all these areas. It's working. And you see Facebook in there, Facebook. It's also tagging this Google one too, but like, so you're verified with Google, it looks like as well. But we see that same code we put in there. It's working. It's working all over the world right now. Look, in Russia, it's working. So it's like literally that fast. It's pretty amazing. So you can check your stuff there, or you can just click verify here. Facebook will check and it's like, boom, you're done. Cool. So this is good to go. I think we can just refresh and you are connected. So let me just make sure we don't need to connect any assets here. I actually will connect this. So under that domain name, I'm going to connect, we don't have any partners here, but I am going to connect that page to that domain. Hit done. And then we don't need any of this right here. So the last step on this kind of new update is in the pixel settings. So that's going to be under Events Manager. And we're going to go to this little new tab down here. It's called Aggregated Event Measurement. Facebook pivoted pretty quickly when basically Apple released this thing with this new iOS update that's not allowing the Facebook Pixel to work as well. Basically, Facebook have pivoted and you can configure web events right here. And it does look like we do need to assign some events. So we have the domain verified, but we're not seeing any events here. So we just checked the how do I configure events button right here, looked at the help document, and I realized that there's a little button I was missing actually when I clicked this, which is right there, edit events. So what you're gonna wanna do if you have 0 events, if yours says purchase and high priority, you're good to go. That's really what you want, is a purchase event. So you can optimize for purchases or at least a lead event. But if you're doing a Shopify site, you want purchases, you don't just want leads. Okay, so click this, click edit events, and it says you may take up to 48 hours, so that's okay. Edit, it's gonna take us to the events manager. From here, we're gonna hit add event, and we're gonna choose the pixel right here, and then we're gonna choose that event, purchase. We will do value optimization if it lets us. Let's see, is it not gonna let us? It's not gonna let us, that's okay. But Shopify should pass that information over and we should be good. So let's hit submit. And that is, see, it's high priority and it's a purchase. and we understand all these changes. I mean, kind of. Okay, sweet. So we have one event right here, purchase. Now we can move on to step 2, I believe. We're going to find out, which is setting up the ad set. So we're going to go back to the ads manager. This is the campaign we created. You can see campaigns, ad sets, ads. So we can click into the campaign here. Now we're on the ad set level. We can hit edit, hover over it right there, hit edit, and that brings up this familiar tab we were just on. Now from here in the conversion events, we should be able to hit purchase, and it's gonna put it right there. Cool. So that's what you want with the conversion event. That's the number one mistake I would say. Actually, there's 2 mistakes. That's the first one that people make, is they put in the wrong conversion. They're like running an ad for like lead conversions, like getting emails, or they're running an ad for view content conversions. And Facebook's like, yeah, we're doing really great. We're sending people to your website, but you're not actually getting the result you want. So having the conversion set up correctly is a huge win. Down from there, the second mistake people make is in this audience tab, which we're going to cover. And I'll talk about that probably when we get into the second or third audiences. So here, I don't typically mess with any of this stuff. If you want to get really crazy, you can turn on these things, which like basically dynamic creative means you could upload like multiple headlines and multiple images, and Facebook will do its thing and split test all of them. I like to kind of do split test myself manually, so I kind of know what's working and don't just let Facebook take complete control. So yeah, this all looks good though up top. I'm not messing with any of these things. As far as budget and schedule, we already set the budget on the campaign level. I never set an end date. That's kind of a little thing that I do, just because I think if you set an end date, it just, maybe it's mentally, but I think Facebook charges you more. So they just know you're not committed. So I just leave it up, and then I will set a calendar reminder to remind myself to come turn this off, because I have done this in the past. I did this on Google Ads. I set up an ad. I forgot about it completely. And then, 3 months later, I had a $5,000 bill. And so don't do what I do. That was bad. So just set a calendar reminder. Like I would probably set one for this time next week, or maybe Wednesday next week. We're doing this on a Friday. So that would give it some good days to get some data and just check back in and see how it's going. You might not turn it off at that point, but you just want to kind of see how it's going and either, check in with me or reduce the budget, or maybe we increase the budget at that point. So we're good there. Okay. Now on the audience tab, this is like the secret sauce of Facebook. This is why Facebook is so powerful, because they have this like really dialed in audience section where you can just hyper target, putting your product in front of the exact person you want to, basically. And so we're going to really dial this in. So we have this note here. Our first audience is super simple, actually. It's just a Highland cow interest. So what we're going to do is in the detailed targeting section here, we'll hit edit. This is where you add in interest, demographics, behaviors. And if you guys want to really, see the power of Facebook, just click this browse button and just like start looking through this stuff. You might be inspired, you might be a little creeped out, but there's a lot of stuff you can target in here. You can be like, they're away from their hometown and they have a birthday coming up, and so if you have a product that fits into any of these categories, it's really handy to just look through those. But then, like I said, there's kind of hidden categories in here that don't show up in browse. Like they don't put Highland cow in there, but we know it's in there because we use that tool, Interest Explorer. So we should be able to put it in here and it should come up, I hope, unless they took it out. They do change these all the time. So Highland cow. No results found. Uh-oh.
But I saw Highland cattle.
Oh, okay, good. Maybe they changed the name. Highland. Let's just type that in and see what comes up. Highland cattle. Oh, thank God. We based everything on that. So yes, it's been a week since we shot the last video. Things changed. So it looks like it was Highland cow. They changed the name to Highland cattle, but audience size is about the same. I remember it being around that 700,000. You guys can see that on the right. And so when actually I'm putting these in here, I want you guys to keep an eye on this up here, the audience definition. Right now, we're actually targeting 230 million people. And it's because we have this box checked on. I would always uncheck this box so we can actually reach who we want to reach. When you do this, it's kind of like the Hail Mary, Facebook, just do whatever you want button. And I don't like to do that. So I just do Highland cow. Looks like out of those 700,000 people, In the United States, between 18 and 65 plus, so it looks like there's some international audience there, because like we're definitely reducing it. Now, what about buyers for you? I would say a lot of buyers for this type of product are probably female, but you'd be surprised. You do female only, women only, you'll still have guys buy it. They find it somehow, like it just happens. So that reduced it a lot, actually, 280,000. Now, as far as what's a good number up here, I like to shoot for 50,000 to 1 million. Somewhere in that range feels pretty niche for me. It sounds like a big number, but that's fairly niche in the grand scheme of the world. As far as age range goes, we might want to dial this in too. That's a pretty broad range. So I might go just up a little bit here on the age range, and I might leave that one on. I feel like they need to change this, because 65 plus is such a massive range right now. It's like they need to have a little bit more flexibility there, but they don't. So I'll just leave it here. That actually didn't really affect our numbers at all. It's still at 280,000. And this is pretty much all we're going to do here. We got United States, age, gender, and targeting. And we make sure that box is unchecked. There's nothing else down here. And then under placements, this is where the ad is going to run. So for that audience, where do you want to show it to them? And I pretty much always leave mine on automatic placements. Again, it's one of those things, I think if you play Facebook's game a little bit, they'll give you better rates. So when you do automatic placements, they run it on their like audience network and things like that, where they, I think, make more money. So they will give you better rates. If you are like, hey, I only want to run this on Instagram, you can do that type of thing here. You can turn these off and just run Instagram, or you can run just specific placements. Like I just want Instagram stories, but I just leave it on all placements or automatic. I like this because you will kind of be ever present. You'll be on Facebook, you'll be on Instagram, you'll be on like random news websites that someone's like, or like someone's playing like Words with Friends on their phone, and there it is, So I like that because it feels like the brand is bigger because you're everywhere. I've had my mom text me like, you guys are on NBC, and it's like just an ad that we paid for, so she's like, you're famous. No, we paid for that. But yeah, the automatic placements is fun. So I would leave that on, and then don't mess with any of that stuff. So this feels really good. Now this is a good number to know when we niche this down, because we have the next audience we're going to create is Highland Cow plus another interest. We're going to use this narrow button, which basically adds this thing that says, and must also match. And we'll do like HGTV, Hobby Lobby. And that's going to bring this down a lot, I think. It may come down too small. So we'll find out when we get there. But let's just start with just this one. Okay, we're going to go to part 3 of this video, which is the creative part. This is where you are setting up your ad. You're setting up the copy. You're importing in the video. All right, so part 3, the creative. This part's fun. We check the Facebook page here, make sure it's good. Check the Instagram account there, make sure that's good. It's going to run from that Instagram account. If you don't have an Instagram account and you're watching this, you can actually have one, basically kind of a fake one for Facebook ads. Like they'll just run ads on Instagram under your Facebook page. But if someone clicks it, it won't go to your Instagram. It'll just like, I don't know what it does, but it has your name, but it's just not, you don't actually have to have an Instagram to run ads on Instagram, which is interesting. Then from there, we're going to say create ad. And these are all videos. So we're going to do single image or video. All right. So we're going to click add media, add video. And then right up here in the upper left-hand corner, you see the upload button. We're going to click on that. And we're going to find the video on her computer and upload it. All right. So this video just got uploaded. What we're going to do is actually, we're going to upload all 3 videos to this one ad set. And then, like I told you, we're going to duplicate it. Even though this ad is really specific for the Hobby Lobby audience, I think we should run it to this audience as well, just to test it, So it uploaded, it looks good. What you can do if you want to edit it, add a poll or change video, you can like do that. But what I like to do here, I think it's actually edit video. Let's see. I like to just check a couple things. I like to check the cropping, making sure it's cropping correctly. I like to check the thumbnail. But I've actually been loving this automatic thumbnail. Facebook just kind of knows like what are people likely to click on. Like they know Camden, if she sees, a glass of wine, she's going to click on that, I don't know. If it's Steven, then they got to show something blue, right? They know this stuff, like they have the data on it. So I just let them do automatic, and they're going to find something in your video, that the thumbnail that is likely to catch this person's attention. You could put captions on this if you wanted to. They used to have a feature here where you could actually have Facebook do it for you. I think they've gotten rid of it since. One upside of that is a lot of people watch stuff on silent on their phone, like it's at nighttime or whatever. But I think with most of the ads you created, you did have text overlays on the screen. So I think most people will get the gist without captions. So I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna skip any of these text overlays. But if you're kind of bootstrapping a video and you don't have an app like Canva does, you can create text overlays, logos, polls, that type of stuff right on the video. So I'm actually not gonna crop it here or trim it. I'm just gonna hit cancel. And what I'm gonna do is actually select these placements to edit. Because this video is vertical, I wanna make sure that we can run it in all the places possible, basically. So let's just see here. It shows you kind of the format. So this one's square, this one's can be vertical, this one has to be horizontal. So the square one, I just want to make sure for that one specifically, it's cropping it in a way that makes sense. And so I would just go in here to crop, and we would go original, and we'll see if it like fits. You know, if it doesn't fit, we can do this original one, and it might just have like black bars, but
You downloaded your file. Now you have your print. So let's go and figure out what we
okay,
do
so
with
that one is gonna not, like, it's gonna cut your face off. So we're gonna do original, and it'll just have black bars on there, and that's totally okay. And if it doesn't work, Facebook won't run this ad in that placement. So we didn't change anything on that.
You downloaded your file. Now you have your print. So let's go and figure
That's
out
actually
what we do
bigger
with
than square, isn't it? That actually works.
Is it better overall to do all videos square? Have you found?
It's hard to say because I like vertical videos a lot as well. This one actually works. Vertical videos just take up the whole screen on a phone, you know, and so it just is more like immersive. And so I always try and do at least one vertical video because this one will run on those stories, apps, websites vertically. Horizontally, I don't think it's gonna really work. Let me see. Here, wait. Yeah, desktop right column. Yeah, it's just not gonna run it. So there's certain placements. When you do all placements, you can see the one with the little thing over it. Those placements just not gonna run. And that's totally okay. But you can click these different ones to kind of preview it and make sure it's gonna fit. So it looks like it fits on most of these. 4x5 tall. What is this one? Instagram Explore, Marketplace. Let's see if we can get to fit in Instagram Explore. 4x5 tall. Okay, so let's go check that one out. Instagram Explore up to 120 seconds. Unsupported. Okay. This should work. 4x5.
You downloaded your file. Now you have your print. So let's go and figure out what we can do with it.
Right here.
Catchy music. All right. This works. It's not gonna show that little download at the bottom, but it still gets enough of your face. It's focused on the product. That should totally work. So we'll give that a second to crop, and it should be good. Okay, the other thing we should start thinking through, Camden, is the copy. So the copy is the words. And so we upload the video, but now we need some like words to go along with it. So this is one thing we didn't really plan out in advance. So we'll pause it and kind of go through that. But you get a headline, you have some primary text, then you also have a website link. So let me hit save. I'll show you guys where to input that, and then we'll kind of report back on what we've created here. So we'll also edit. We'll add a version that works in the Instagram feed because I think that's a good place for this one as well. As far as the website goes, we want to send people probably right to the Highland Cow page. Is that right?
I would say yes.
Okay, so let's find that really fast. So CamdenCreations.com. Animals. Let's see here.
There she is.
Sweet cow.
Here we go.
All right, so we're gonna grab that link, copy it, and put it over on Facebook. That's the destination. So we don't want to just send people right to the homepage of the website. We want to be very hyper targeted with this. If they see that cow, they like it, we want to send them right to that cow page. And then at the bottom, we're going to make sure the pixel's turned on. which it is right here, tracking turned on. And then the other stuff we're going to fill out is basically the headline, the primary text, and the description. So we'll pause this video. If you're doing this with us on video, pause your video and think through this and play around with it. When you play around with the headline, things like this, it'll show over here on the right-hand side. So you can kind of see what it looks like. See, there's the headline right there. The primary text is up at the top right here. And the primary text is where you can write like a lot. If you want to like go real in depth, you can write a lot. But for the most part, I'm doing shorter copy because Facebook is picky. And so the longer you go, the more they have to nitpick. So we want to keep it short and sweet and to the point. So we'll pause this video. We'll be right back. All right. We just finished our copywriting brainstorming session. Copy is always the hardest part of this process, I feel like. So luckily, Camden has done a lot of this work to figure out what words she can use to describe this product, describe her audience, describe herself. So if you have any of those things already done on your website, definitely check those out. But basically the idea here is, we want to have words that attract the right person. And so we are talking about hand painted, right? People who appreciate art. We hit HGTV in there. We also hit a discount. We're going to do a discount on this product to celebrate the launch of her new shop. And so it's a 60% off. It's a high discount that's going to attract people's attention, as well as we put in there Highland Cow, because this is a Highland Cow interest. The photo, of course, will attract the Highland Cow audience. The headline, we put 60% off for a limited time, and then picture this beautiful Highland Cow in your home. So the key thing with copy is really just to speak to the results or the desire of the buyer, right? So, we don't just say like we could say, hey, this print, or this canvas is made of this material and has a wood frame and has all these things, right? We really more want to speak to the end result. So sprinkle your home with a little joy from this whimsical Highland Cow. So 60% off, we're hitting kind of that limited time. That's not going to be a forever deal. So we do have that kind of, limited kind of scarcity time of like, I should do this now, not wait until it's, 2 times the price. And then we hit the kind of picturing, the result again at the bottom. So this feels pretty good. We got the website in there as well, goes straight to the product, and everything else is dialed in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit publish. I always say a quick prayer. So, we just pray that this ad gets approved because Facebook is picky. Luckily, this is a pretty tame niche. So it's not like, if you're selling, let's say, gun products or, gambling accessories or something, like if you're in one of these alternative niches that Facebook might be a little more strict on, they're going to be more likely to just nitpick your ads. But what I would do is one last thing here. I would name this. So as you guys are getting into this, I think I forgot to name both of these. And so let's go back and do that really quick. So this one is this is Hobby Lobby, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. We just named that. And then let's go back to the ad set. And I always name the ad set after the audience. So we're going to go USA 2265 Highland Cow. Once we have everything named, you guys can see it keeps it nice and organized. We're going to just close that. You can see campaign. We have the campaign. Under the ad set, we have that ad set. And under the ads, we have the Hobby Lobby ad. So that's what you want to do first. You want to just get one campaign, one ad set, and one ad at the top level. And then what we're going to do, we're going to duplicate the ad 2 times. Then we're going to come back and duplicate the ad set 2 times. And every time we duplicate it, we're going to just change one little thing based on the previous research that we did. So what I would normally do here is I would wait until this ad gets approved. You'll see it's in review right now. I'd wait for it to get approved. You also get an email. And then I would duplicate everything. But I feel pretty confident about this niche. It's not like, we're in a niche that Facebook has a lot of trigger words or red flags. So I think we're going to be okay. But if you are in a niche like that, wait till it gets approved before duplicating. Because if you do duplicate a million times and then that original one gets disapproved, it'll pretty much disapprove all your ads. And then it's more work to kind of appeal all those and get those back running. So I feel totally good though. And I told Cam, if it happens, we'll make a video helping people get appealed ads approved. So what we're going to do, we're in the ad level here. We did all that work already. So we're just going to duplicate it. We're just going to duplicate it. We're going to keep it in the original campaign and we're going to hit duplicate. We could have actually said 2 times there, but I just did 1. We're going to name this one the Highland Cow video, because we have one that was like all Highland Cow specific. So we're going to name it after the video just so we remember what's what. Now we're going to come down here to the creative, and we are just going to delete this out because you have that video in there. So basically we'll delete that video out. Delete, 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 and then change video. And we're going to upload that other video, the one with the Highland Cow. This one, Highland Cow. All right, so let that upload. And then same thing. This one is a square video, so it should run in multiple placements without us really doing any of the cropping and editing and things like that. So this one's going to be really easy. As far as the copy goes, if you are doing a different video, there's kind of two theories here. You could just keep the same copy for everything, and then you're split testing the video. You kind of know like, hey, I have the same copy, so if something is working, it's the video, or you could change the copy on each one, so I'll take a look at this once we get it on here, and we'll see, if we think we're going to change the copy. I think honestly, we should keep the copy maybe the same for this one, and then change it for the other ad sets potentially. Like on the Hobby Lobby ad set, we might say something more about the DIY stuff, on the Highland Cow, Hobby Lobby, HGTV. That one, I guess this copy will work good for the HGTV because it does mention that right up top.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, let's hit close. I always wait to hit publish draft items because if you hit that, it like goes into this like whole like processing thing. And so I just want to finish stuff before I hit publish up top. So, okay, so we got the new video in there. It's going to run in all the placements except those two, which is totally fine. And then for the primary text, I don't know, maybe we should just say one thing about a Highland Cow right up top. Boom. I like that. So we just snuck the little Highland Cow in there just because we know this audience very specifically loves Highland Cows. Picture this beautiful Highland Cow in your home. I think this is all good. So we're done. I would hit publish here, but again, I'm going to just wait until we're done, and then I'll hit publish to publish them all at the same time. That just saves you some time in the end. Let's do one more time. You can see how doing one first makes the other ones way faster. So we just duplicate it again, repeat the process. I'll pause the video so you guys don't have to watch, and we'll report back in just a second. All right, that video is uploaded, swapped it out. We're going to leave the text the same on this one. You can see it's fitting perfectly, and we're good to go. So we're going to hit the X again here. We're going to hit close. We're going to wait to publish. And so we now what we did, just to recap, we did a campaign. Inside that campaign, we have one ad set. This is our Highland Cow interest, 22 to 65 female audience. Inside of that, going to those specific people, we have these three ads. And so out of our $10 a day budget, Facebook might spend $3 here, $3 here, $3 here. If one of these starts really taking off, Facebook will spend the entire budget on that one thing, or they'll lean more into it because they want to get you results, right? So all these are in draft right now. So once we have all three set up, now we're going to come back to the ad set. We're going to duplicate here. So now we're going to go from 3 ads to 6 ads. But this saves you so much time because we don't have to recreate those ads. So we hit duplicate, original campaign, duplicate, and then all we have to do is change that audience. So in the audience, now what we're going to do is the Highland Cow plus HGTV audience. So this is a niche within the niche, but it's going to help us hyper target even inside that 200,000 Highland Cow audience, people who love those HGTV interests. So we're going to come down here, and this is like, I talked about the number 2 mistake people make about audience creation. And that is what they do is they come in here to detailed targeting. And what you would think to do is just add HGTV right here, right? You go HGTV, you can see employers, schools, interest. You want to do the interest most likely, unless you're specifically trying to target employees of HGTV, which could be a cool strategy for you, right? But let's do this one. So most people do this, and this is a mistake because what just happened was my potential ratios went up to 100 million people. Because if you put stuff in the same gray box here, you see the gray box, Facebook could target people who like HGTV or Highland Cows. So it's like 200,000 Highland Cow people, and then 1 million, blah, 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 like people who love HGTV. So what we want to do instead is get rid of that and use the magic button, the narrow button right here. So this narrow button is really the powerful part of Facebook where you can layer. So we can say, not only do they have to love Highland Cows, but they also have to love HGTV. And we got these interests already, these specific shows here from that tool, Interest Explorer. And what I love is you can just paste those in and it'll just grab them all, put them all in there. And our audience did just get bigger though, didn't it? Oh, it checked this box again on us. You see that box right there?
Yeah.
So we want to uncheck that and see how small it gets. So actually, wow, this audience got super small, 6,000 people. Isn't that crazy? So this audience might be too small. Anything under 10,000 people, it might not actually show, but I kind of want to try it because if it does work, these people will be really into this thing. So I would try this. What might happen though is because we have the budget set at the ad set level, like I kind of talked to you about, Facebook will spend money where it's working. So because one interest has 200,000 people and one has 6,000, they might just spend all the money on the 200,000. So we might not get some good data on this one. So we're gonna have to play that by ear. One thing we might be able to do is just go for a more broad HGTV audience, even though these were a little bit more niche shows that I think were really good. We might just go a little bit more broad here on the HGTV potentially. So we'll go for that interest and see how big that gets it. Okay, I got up to 91, that's better. I might do this. If we want to make it broader, we could add some more stuff up here. I remember there's a bunch of other cows. So we could do some of these other breeds of cows. Okay. But I think, I don't know. I think we should leave this Highland cow for now. Because I like how specific it is. If we need to, if this one's not performing, what we'll do, we'll come in here and we'll add in like, Nattle Cattlemen's Beef Association, and we'll just keep adding in stuff here. That suggestions button's actually really helpful. Once you have a couple in, you can just find, other interests in here to add. And you can see every time I add one, we're going up in numbers. Okay. So we'll leave that though with just the Highland cow. Perfect. Okay, 91,000. That's dialed in. That's how you want it to look. Highland cattle and must also match one of these things. So it's like Highland cattle, HGTV, Highland cattle, HGTV home. One of those things. Okay. So this is really good. This is a specific audience, which I love. And because we already did the copywriting on those, we don't have to do that again. So we can actually, instead of hit publish, that'll go into loading mode. We're just going to hit close and we'll just repeat the process one last time. So we'll go to duplicate here. Duplicate. And we'll go over to your interests here. And we were going to do the DIY niche, the Joann's fabric, craft stores, all those ones. So we'll name it for ourselves. So we'll just call this the DIYers. Perfect. Go down here to the audience and we'll get rid of this section, HGTV, and then we'll add in DIYers. Perfect. And then we're going to get rid of that checkbox, see how small it gets. 72,000, pretty good. That's awesome. So this looks really good. Good. Now, if you wanted to really go a next step, you totally could go into each one of these and dial in the copy for each one. But I think we already kind of did that. The only one I might change a little bit is the DIYers so that they know that they can print these out basically. Click into that campaign here and it should show us just the 3 ads. I don't know why it's showing us all these. This is a glitch that's happening right now. But it's these top 3 up here. So typically when you click on one ad set, it should show only the ads under it. But if I checked all of them and then went over here, it should show all the ads. But let's just try and do just that one. Okay, DIYers. There we go. Yeah, it's the checkbox ones right here. So I guess technically you could rename these like HGTV, DIY if you really wanted to. So maybe after this, just do that just so we keep it really organized. And you can just know like, oh, wow, that one's really killing it for that audience. You just click this little edit name, HGTV, DIY, and then hit save to draft. And just go through and name them. It's just naming structures will save you in the end. When you start getting into a lot of ads, it just keeping things organized is really awesome. Okay, so the only other thing I would do here is maybe for the DIYers, I would just add a little bit of language that kind of tells them that this is like a printable, it's like something that they can get at a fraction of the price, right? We added in a couple words here. Own this hand print. What did we add? We added this at the end for dreamers and doers. So my online print shop for dreamers and doers. And then the headline, we say download, print, and enjoy. So we're just going to try that out as just a alternative to this one. But now that I'm thinking about it, Camden, we're kind of in the moment here. I think we should actually do that on the Hobby Lobby ad, not these ones. So it's totally my bad. But let's leave this one and we'll come back. We'll go to the Hobby Lobby one and copy this over. Now, there is one caveat about this that I didn't say, is when you change anything about an ad, it becomes a new, how do I describe this? It becomes a new ad, like, our target ad. So in our program, we use this one video, this target video. And because we've been using that same video, like you're going to have the Highland Cow video, right? All those videos actually share the same post ID, which means that if someone likes and comments on one, it'll show on all these different ones. And so like with our target video, it has like 5,000 shares on it. It's got this like tons of social proof. And so because of that, we don't change anything about it. So I wouldn't do stuff like this, but since we're just getting started, you can totally experiment things like this. But if one starts really taking off, you won't change any of the text. You'll just leave it and just like use it in new targeting and new things, but you won't change. Whenever you change the text, it becomes like a new ad. It starts over basically. Like say one of these is running, it's doing really well. And I go in and change the URL. I go in and change the little, 60% off. Maybe that's not happening anymore. It's going to put it back into learning mode. It has to get reapproved and it's a whole new ad. So that's just one thing to know when we're changing stuff around. Okay. So lastly, we'll just copy this over to the Hobby Lobby one here. All right, I'm adding back in the 60% because I think the discount does appeal to this audience as well. It's all also up there. Print shop for dreamers and doers. I guess we should probably use the real word, and doers. Okay, cool. That feels really good. So Camden, that is all the steps. Are you ready to hit publish?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So just to recap, we got one campaign. We got a $10 budget. So if you want to turn the budget up, you just hit this little pencil and change it to 20, change it to 25. Facebook recommends not going up more than, I think they say 20%, which at a low budget is not that much. It's just $2, I think. But I would say you totally can. Like I've gone from 10 to 25 to 100. When you start getting into higher budgets, then you do want to, instead of just like increasing the budget, you might just duplicate it. So if you wanted to go to $20 a day, you could actually hit duplicate here and start doing a whole nother one, but we'll talk about that when you get there. This little button here is your on off button. So you can turn it off, turn it back on. What I'd recommend instead of turning it off though, is I would just lower the budget. So if you are really like, oh shoot, I gotta like spending too much money, just like turn the budget down to $1. It keeps it getting data and keeps Facebook happy. And then you don't have to like go back into review. Once these get approved, they should say approved right here or active. And they go into a learning phase. And the tricky part of Facebook is technically they say that you're supposed to have 50 conversion events to get through a learning phase within a 7-day period. So that'd be meaning 50 purchases within a 7-day period. And I think at $10 a day, we won't hit that. Right. But I have seen that Facebook ads can learn faster than that. That's what they say. But I have seen them learn faster. And I've seen them even be in the learning phase. It'll say here, instead of active, it'll say learning, and still work great. So don't worry about what it says there. I think they just want you to spend more money. So with that, we have 3 ad sets. We got them nice and labeled here. HGTV, our dreamers and doers, and our Highland Cow interest. And then underneath all those, we have all the ads, which you can come back and name just to keep them more specific, like HGTV, DIY, High Cow. Just look here, whatever it says here, and kind of name it so we know when we're coming back and looking at the data, what's working and what's not. With that, we can go up to the top, hit review and publish, and that's going to put all of them into publishing. Now, this little error that's coming up is because we selected all placements, but we don't have an aspect ratio for all of them. And this won't mess you up. Like if Facebook's not going to penalize you for this error, it'll still run and everything, and you should be good to go. And as far as changing the names go, remember I talked about throwing it back into learning. It won't throw it back into learning. Whatever you change the names here, that's like just for you. It's not external. So that won't mess anything up. But yeah, there you go. 12 ads running under $10 a day budget. So each one is just kind of trickling right now. but we're gonna we'll see what happens, you know. And if we need to spend a little bit more to get a little bit more data, we can. But I say we check back in a week or so and just kind of see what's happening.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a longer video, but hopefully it was helpful seeing those process. I don't know any other videos right now talking about that new Facebook kind of thing that they're doing with the whole like domain verification. So definitely do that on your website if you haven't yet already. Even if you're not planning to run ads, go verify your domain name because it'll help you in the long run. And take action on this and report back if you're watching this video in the comments. How's it working for you? Do you have any questions? We'd love to help you out along the way.
All right, if you are following along, you have your ad running or at least pending on Facebook right now. Congratulations, you've done so well. In the next video, we're gonna check back in with Camden, see how that ad is going. And you can check back in on your ads and see how we analyze the results, see what's working, what's not working. Because remember, Facebook ads is all about testing. If you can have that mindset about it and just test for a short season, you can get some amazing data to actually start profiting in the next season. If you've been following along on this series, I would love to hear about your journey. Let me know in the comments below what's working for you, what's not working for you, what questions do you have? Because this is an ongoing series to help Shopify site owners run Facebook ads and drive traffic and revenue to their businesses online. With that, I'm tuning out. I'll see you inside the next video. Leave a like on this video if it helped you out, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.